welcome to another episode of Hatchets, Heels, and Honeys. I am your ringmaster, the Queen, Noelle Harlow. I am here with the zombie, my homie, Chrissy Rivera, and we have a very special guest with us this evening, Joe Dombrowski, the color call man, as you will, of JCW. Joe, thank you for joining us this evening.
Whoop, whoop. Thanks for having me, guys.
We are so excited to have you because, Joe, you're like an amazing commentator. And I apologize, I called you color because my whole world is color, as you can see. Joe is an amazing commentator. You've called like 8,000 matches, Joe. Like legitimately 8,000 matches.
I've actually lost count. I think I hit 8,000 sometime about a year or two ago. So I might be at 8,500 now. I might be closer to 9,000. I don't know if I'm ever going to get back in the mojo of kind of catching up with some of the numbers. And I used to log every single match. I have my website, probably my first 21 years of match results of everything I called. And I know I was locked in. I was obsessed. I still am. But there's just been so much going on, and you leave home for a week or two at a time, and you kind of lose track of logging it. And it's a little sad that I may not actually be able to fill in all those blanks these past couple of years because it's been like a blur. But I'm grateful for the opportunities, and I'm grateful for this platform you guys give me here tonight.
Oh, thank you. You call matches for everybody. MLW, CZW, Chrissy and I work there, Dragon Skate, Ring of Honor, AAA, and you're at Juggalo Championship Wrestling. And I figured we're going to need an expert for tonight. So I called upon Joe's services here to help us. We need
no pressure. No pressure,
Joe.
No pressure on the show. It's okay.
Yeah. Trust me, there's never any pressure. We are the two women who are now famous for asking Barnabas all the how do you travel with zombie questions? Like, do you stuff them in the overhead bins? Like, so there's absolutely no pressure on the show whatsoever. This is a show you can have fun with. But it is serious in some ways, shape, or form. And the serious part is we don't like Vito.
No, well, that just means you've met him. That's all that means. I mean, Vito is gosh, he's always at about an 11 when I could stand him at about a 4.
Sometimes.
Abrasive, overbearing, obnoxious. And those were his good qualities. So yes. I don't know what to tell you, but Vito has been a thorn in my side. He's been a thorn in the side of everybody in JCW. He has somehow found a way to abuse power that he doesn't even officially have. And run his mouth the whole time in the process. But
Joe, unfortunately, I'm married to him.
Listen, and I'm trying not to judge you based on past mistakes.
Yeah, I've made errors.
Clean slate.
I've made errors. Joe, I want to get something to show you. Chrissy, well, I'm going to take a second to show Joe what showed up on my desk when I came here today. Can you please explain to Joe what Vito did at your wedding?
What?
Yes. So Mr. LaGrasso was invited to my wedding in 2019, and he had a lot of demands. He had a lot of questions about the menu, about the music, about the merch table. He did ask if Mickey Mouse was going to be there because it was in Disney, and Mickey Mouse was there, and there was a little bit of tension because he did not want to share the spotlight with.
He wasn't the name. He wasn't the name.
He was not the star of the show. So there was a little bit of tension there. So we've, it's been years, and I still have a little animosity towards him regarding a Disney wedding.
There's some heat. I'm actually going to insert a photo when I'm done editing this that you guys will see here of Vito actually stealing Chrissy away from her husband to dance, and him standing there with his fist out ready to punch Vito. An actual occurrence at Chrissy's wedding. Guys, wrapped in paper, left on my podcast office.
Interesting.
Today. Does this mean I'm going to sleep with the fishes?
Oh no, that's yeah. I would sleep with one eye open. I think you should tread lightly there. That's Not a good sign.
Was that a smelt? Did he send me a smelt?
I'm amazed I haven't gotten one of those yet. I haven't let him find out my address. I think is the only thing that's kept me.
Check your broadcast desk next time you go. Check the locker room. Apparently he's loose with smelts.
Anytime I smell rotting fish, I just assume it's Mark Roberts. I didn't know that it was actually physically there.
I've heard things. There. Christy, I want to get down to some business so we can talk a little bit about this. So you know what time it is. It's time for business. We got to put our glasses on for business, Joe.
Okay.
We're both badass blind. We say.
I'm already ready.
You're prepared. All right. Let's talk about some business now. Big Vito in the ring at the opening of the show welcomes back Violent J with open arms.
Mhm.
Vito hasn't welcomed anybody back with open arms since John Gotti got out of prison. So I'm not really sure the direction he's taking with this, but I would love to have you guys' opinion on that.
I mean, I'm surprised he was even alive after the show before with the whole limo incident. I was wondering what was going to go on with that. And now we have him welcoming him with open arms. So I'm curious too.
He had two black eyes. Joe?
I mean, as far as I'm concerned, Vito shook. And that this isn't behavior that's becoming of him. And the fact that Violent J has rented so much space inside his head. And, you know, whether it's the music, whether it's driving the limo, whether it's the omnipresent nature of Violent J, because this is his creation. This is his baby. And you can take it away from him, but he is not going to just go away into that good night gently. Violent J is going to fight for what he built for 26 years. And Vito may come in and think this is just another wrestling promotion. It's just another place to do business and you know, get FaceTime. But I got news for Vito. JCW is nothing like he's ever experienced before. The closeness, the togetherness, the familial bond that Jay has with the fans, with the talent, you can't just wipe that away. You can't just fire that. You can't just remove that from the situation. That's like I said, that's omnipresent. And I think Vito feels like he's got a better shot fighting Violent J face to face than not knowing where he's coming from next. And that tells me that he's a desperate man.
Yeah, we've been talking about the fact that even at home when I see him, because obviously I have no idea where he is currently. He left me a fish. He knew
probably
I was
for the better. That way he won't have to testify.
Yeah, I mean, really, then my hands are clean. He pulls scams all over town. I have a scam to tell you guys about that's pretty funny in a little bit. But yeah, he's been hearing music in the house. That's how I know Violent J is in his head. He doesn't know what chicken hunting is, but as a juggalo, I do. And I know that's what he's hearing. And he's tripping out. He heard it at the post office. Like, he's tripping out. He is used to getting his way by this power that he has in his head. He's not getting his way this time because this is Violent J's company. Now, I think he is kind of getting ready to have a little bit of an off with his 35-year friendship with Vince Russo, which is something else I think we should probably look at. Vince is friends with both Violent J and Vito. I mean, he's in the middle. What do you guys think?
Well, I mean, the thing with Vince and you know, I've only worked with Vince a short time, but I've obviously, you know, followed the Vince Russo playbook for many decades, and I've seen what he brings to the table, and I think I have a pretty good idea of how his mind works. And Vince Russo's number one priority is always ratings, bro. That's what it is. Vince wants the most eyeballs possible on that show. And if Big Vito thinks that Russo is going to have blind loyalty to that friendship when he sees an opportunity to get more eyeballs, then he's got another guest coming. And I think, you know, and I don't want to jump the gun here because I know we got a lot to talk about, but great evidence of that is, you know, seeing Willie Mack and Too Tough Tony back on the scene. And obviously they are good for ratings. Obviously they are good for business, and Vince is a businessman. And the more that happens, the better for everybody. So, I think Vince has to be able to see both sides of this issue, and has to be able, if he's true to himself as a businessman, has to be able to see the merit of both sides. And to me, again, that means if I'm Big Vito, I can't be throwing around weight that I'm not sure is there.
Yeah, I agree. Chris, what do you think?
I mean, is it possible? I mean, Joe said it, right? He's a businessman. He's all about the ratings, but is it possible that maybe he will be pitting the two against each other, right? So maybe he's not completely loyal to one or completely loyal to the other. Maybe it's just he's a man of business and he wants those ratings and he's going to stay right down the middle and do what he has to do, right? So it's going to be interesting to see if he, has these little schemes and pins them against each other. I think, we might see some of that in the future.
I think a little bit of insight. I've been friends with Vince Russo for probably about 11 or 12 years. And I've been married to Vito and been with Vito for 17 years. So I know them both fairly well. Vito does, however, surprise me on many occasions. Vince, even though he swerves people a lot, I think I know him very good. The thing about Vince and Vito is they're like brothers. They're very much like brothers. And in every family there tends to be some infighting and you have problems with your brothers and whatever. And sometimes brothers stop speaking and sometimes brothers fight. Mm-hmm. And Chrissy, you know this, a few weeks ago, I had the, should I say pleasure? I don't think that's the word I want to use. I was in the car with both of them. And they got lost. And let me tell you something, they will fight. So I can foresee that there may be a rift coming between them. But also, Violent J, that's ratings. The Juggalos love him. Vito, as much as I hate to say it, he has people that love him. He has a Big V mafia that turn out for him. They show up in suits. They love him. We don't know why, but they do. That's ratings. Vince loves his ratings. We're just going to have to see where that's going to lead. Because I really, even though I know them all pretty good, and I'm just getting to know Jay, I think this is going to be a big explosion. Whether it's just turns out to be Violent J and Vito, or whether it turns out to be all three fighting together, I guess we're going to have to see. Mm-hmm. I mean, this all goes back to when Vito first came in the company and everybody thought he was the investor. And Joe, you were there for that. And everybody thought Vito was the investor. What was the vibe there when that happened? How did everybody feel about that?
Well, I think it's a lot of shock and it's a lot of uncertainty. And, I think you can point to so many examples in the wrestling business of when there's a change in management, nobody feels safe. Nobody feels secure because they're going to have their own ideas. They're going to have their own philosophies. They're going to have their own guys and girls to enact on it. So, somebody like Vito, who I don't think really most or any of our locker room had any direct experience dealing with, that was a big X factor. And the way he came in the door was a big red flag. And if you recall, it was Vito and the way he escalated his problems with Violent J that led to Violent J losing his power to begin with. So in his attempts to rule with an iron fist, he's caused more chaos, more dissent, and more anarchy than ever before. And thus far, most of the time, he remains unscathed. But as the outbreak is proven, as the monsters just proved last week, when somebody gets a hold of him, there are weeks and weeks of pent-up rage that wind up coming out in the most violent of fashion.
I like the word fear that you brought up, Chrissy. I don't know if you're aware, but Vito was it the most feared person in 2025, I believe, in JCW. And I'm going to bring up a picture so you can take a look there. Joe.
Yeah, well, Vito was happy to accept that award. If he didn't get the award, I'm sure he would have been happy to accept someone else's award. I feel like he made his presence known a number of times that night, but that you could sense just if you get a body language expert in here to just break down how stiff and tense that we are in the moment, because we don't know what he's going to do. We don't know.
Poor Mark, he's going to have a seizure. Somebody's going to have to put their wallet in his mouth. Look at it.
Everybody looks so thrilled in this photo.
Except Vito is just having the time of his life. Now, the reason I bring this photo up, not only because we have Joe here with us, but when there was a conversation between Violent J and Vince and Vito, and there was an ongoing discussion. Did Vito steal from Violent J's house? Did he take a picture off the wall and give it to a girl in his car? Because he literally said, I'm taking this, I'm giving it to someone, and walked out of the house, Joe.
I do remember that, and I've been in Jay's house since, and I didn't see it there, so I don't think anybody got it back, and honestly, I would be scared to trace the breadcrumbs back to where he goes or the kind of people he associates with to even look for it at this point. So I have a feeling that if we ever look at the Big Vito rap sheet, that may pale in comparison to some of the other stuff on there.
And then the other thing that came out was that Vito, I guess Jay didn't realize he's got axes because of his song, My Axe. And Vito goes, well, I was out there playing with your axes. So he took axes too, apparently. I don't know where these things are now, Joe. He was picking up belts. He was messing with Hulk Hogan. I don't know what he did, but he apparently was at Joe's house. Joe was there. Violent J took his picture off the wall and it is gone. Nobody knows what happened to it.
I mean, Vito's been paying people off, right? We've seen it with our own two eyes. Is it possible that maybe he sold some of these items to try to, pay some people to get them to do what he wants? Like,
he's a scammer going way back. He comes in. You know what? Every Italian is going to hate Vito after I say this. Every Italian is going to hate him because he's cheap. We determined that when we had Jasmine on.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
He goes to the Little Caesars, guys. Now, this is when he wants to serve pizza to somebody like myself who's not good enough for Vito level pizza. He will come in with Little Caesars and he goes, I go there because when I go in, there's a sign that says if they don't ask me if I want cheesy bread, if I say you didn't ask me, they have to give it to me for free. So he purposely goes in there to get free cheesy bread.
Oh my gosh! I mean, I think you deserve a lot better. No offense to Little Caesars of the world, but I mean, if it was up to me, you would have the finest Italian gourmet cuisine, hand prepared by Luigi Primo himself.
See, and that's the other thing. I heard he asked Luigi Primo to make him pizza, and then he goes, "Oh, he didn't give me any." But that's not what I hear either. And the whole basis of the whole small rift in between him and Vince Russo all started with who paid for the pizza. I don't know if Chrissy's aware of this, Joe, but ask Mr. Russo sometime who paid for the pizza in New York when they were doing the show after WWE Raw and they had the original Monday Night Raws and they did their radio show. Who paid for the pizza? They both claim to have paid for the pizza. And still, this has been going on since the very first episodes of Raw, and nobody has come forward to say who paid for the pizza.
So
35.
This has gone on for what, 33 years now?
33 years of who has paid for the pizza. From their original Vicious Vincent's radio show, who paid for the pizza.
And then you want to factor in inflation, and the whole issue gets just worse and worse by the year then. How much money does one owe the other now when you adjust?
I have no idea, but the scams keep coming because Vince tried to take Vito out again just recently. And he said, Vito, I want you to sign this receipt. He says, I want you to see it. I am paying you back for any pizza you claimed you purchased. I am taking you to the steakhouse. I want you to eat a meal, and I want you to sign this receipt. And Vince handed the receipt to Vito, and Vito signed it. And Vito said, see, I paid for it. I signed the receipt. He said, so you can't take a picture and tell anybody that I signed the receipt saying I received the lunch from you. No. I signed it. I paid for it, right? Although Vince put it on his card.
Who would have known that a conversation with two guys named Vic Venom and Skull Von Crush could get so nasty?
Right? And that's another thing. How many identities does Vito have? You guys like to count? The man's been in witness protection more times than I can even fathom. He's been Skull Von Crush. He was Vito Cruz. He was a Hare Krishna. He was Uncle Chester that looked like Uncle Fester, apparently. Oh, God, he was Sledgehammer Rock, a construction worker with Daisy Duke shorts on. How many identities does this man have?
And how many does he still use that you don't know about, right? We don't know what he does that Vito we say it every episode is 10 p.m. Do you know where your Vito is, right?
I have no idea.
Vito, right?
See him around here?
Never. He's never here conveniently when we're filming a show.
Never here. And he says, I'm coming on your show. But here's the thing, Joe. He assaults you every chance he gets.
Yeah. I'm a victim in this. I've been pushed, jarred, jostled, slapped, punched, smacked, had headsets thrown at me, had water thrown at me, choked, nerve pinched. I mean, you name it. If it can be done to me from a sitting position, he's found a way to do it.
And he's got Mickey Knuckles doing it now too.
Yes.
He started some kind of trend. So I'm just trying to do my job. I'm going to help you out, Joe, because we have a sponsor on the show here.
I hope it's like a Pope Mobile or something. I can just
this is a sponsor that I believe that you could probably use.
Okay.
And then we'll get on to, we have a secondary sponsor, but there's a little bit of complication with that again, and Chrissy's going to explain that. But Bedfellows Law is our sponsor here for the show. They gave me something to read that I think that's going to help you out. Has Big Vito ever told you owe him a Monster or a Muscle Milk? I have a question for you. Is that debt weighing on you? If so, you may be owed compensation. My name is Noelle. I'm not an attorney, but I'm a spokesperson for the professionals at Bedfellow Law. We've seen the tolls these high caffeinated demands can take on your peace of mind and your wallet. You don't have to carry that weight around anymore. It's time to settle. Contact us immediately at our email, vitoowesme@gmail.com. That's right, vitoowesme@gmail.com. Bedfellows Law, because you've paid enough. Let the big guys at Bedfellows take on Big Vito for you. Joe, they may be able to help you out.
Very good. Well, I need all the help I can get, and I think there might be a long line forming at the left behind me of guys and girls that have depleted their energy drink and Monster budgets, just trying to curry favor to the protector of the investment, just to keep their jobs, keep their spots intact.
And these people believe you guys are owed compensation. Now, a wrench was thrown in our works because to continue to bring fine programming to you folks, we have to have sponsors. And unfortunately, Joe Vito is one of the sponsors for the show.
No.
He believes if he can control some of the money, he can control the show. But Chrissy, let Joe know what happened this week.
So I did contact this law firm, and I do have an open case with Vito right now. I just want to put that out there, be fully transparent. I guess he must have found out about it pretty early. So I was contacted by Vito's lawyer, which sounded a lot like Vito, by the way. So I'm not entirely sure. I tried to
John Barron situation.
Yeah. Big time. I tried to ask for his credentials, and he started like coughing and yelling, and I might have heard Dolly in the back. Not sure. Anyway,
Heard the dog.
So he said in negotiations between the two law firms, part of the agreement right now is that I have to do the sponsor for the show. I don't want us to lose our spot on the show. I said, fine, I'll play ball. Usually Queen Noelle reads it, but apparently I'm supposed to read it this time because I have something to do with this lawsuit.
I'm not good enough. That's what it is. I'm not good enough to read his sponsorships.
Oh. But you're doing it under duress, though, it sounds like.
It's under duress. The whole thing is under duress.
Yes.
Go ahead, Chrissy. Would you like to read it to get the sponsorship out of the way? I'll hold up the...
Would I like to read it and will I read it are two different things. So, will I like to read it? No. Will I read it? Yes, I will read it. I
can't wait to hear this drivel he's come up with this week.
I am supposed to show enthusiasm. I am supposed to show effort. So, I am going to try my best for the sake of our show. Bear with me. Little Dagos. Tradition isn't just a word. It's a Luciano family legacy. And for generations, the secret to that legacy has been one drink, Little Dagos. Now, for the first time ever, the vault is open and you can own the goodness. This isn't just a refreshment, it's an heirloom. Each bottle comes personally signed by the Don himself.
Oh my God, the ego.
With a certificate of authenticity and your exclusive membership card to the Big V Mafia.
I can't.
You're not just a customer, you're part of the inner circle. Claim your seat at the table. Get yours now at thebigvitobrand.com. Little Dagos, respect the family, drink the brand.
You probably get salmonella. Little Dagos.
Is there nutritional facts on the back of that thing?
No, there's a spot where he signs it for you because his ego thinks everybody wants a signature on a beverage with a certificate of authenticity.
Well, I have heartburn after reading that, so okay.
Joe,
move on.
My V8 didn't come with a certificate of authenticity.
No, if you need to authenticate your drink, I think there's a serious problem there.
It's a Luciano family tradition.
Usually I'm drinking tea. Usually I'm drinking water. Tonight, I don't know if you could show it, so I'll block it out, but I'm drinking an alcoholic beverage because I feel like I need one after talking to Vito's lawyer, quote unquote. So,
Jesus God almighty. Guys, let's talk a little bit about the show so we can kind of not talk about Vito and my nausea can come down so I don't need Rolaids.
Great show, great opener. I mean, what do you guys want to talk about?
Disco Ray, guys, and the Ring Rat. What are sex chips, Joe? What are sex chips, Joe?
Yeah.
I think that may be outside my area of expertise. But Matt, what a fun combination, though, right? Disco Ray. It's there's something about those hips, you know. They're just, you're drawn to them. Both of their hips. Let's be honest. I mean,
the hips don't lie.
They do not lie. That's been statistically proven, scientifically. But yeah, there's some magnetism there. You're drawn to them. They're fun. They're unique, and I don't know. Maybe they're kind of made for each other. I don't know that. The Ring Rat's got a lot of great qualities. I'm not sure if loyalty is one of them, but
she's got Vito level loyalty, but man, she's got sex chips. Cake flavored sex chips.
Well,
he didn't care that he lost to Facade. It seemed to not bother him because he landed himself a Ring Rat, and for some wrestlers, that's a big achievement.
Hey, win or lose, he still gets to celebrate, right?
Right. Either way, I think he's happy. So, hey, the Ring Rat, she has made her way through a nice small portion of the roster. And I think her and I really like the Disco Ray. I like the whole thing about it. I like the whole presentation. Kind of reminds me of Disco Stew. Disco Stew from The Simpsons? Kind of dig that. I'm kind of into that Disco Stew thing.
Disco Ray doesn't advertise.
I like when Disco Stu on The Simpsons, that he was addicted to sugar and he had to go to rehab, and he goes, Disco Stu got hooked on the white stuff back in the 70s. That was funny. Maybe
Well, we
Disco
also
Ray
have
could hook up
cocaine
your
on the
character.
roster, right? We have cocaine, so you never know what'll happen in JCW, right?
You could team with cocaine. You have a regular Boogie Nights over there. You never know what's going to happen. And the next thing I wanted to touch on is our old friend Chrissy loves her some Carrie tinfoil hat Morton. She loves Carrie Morton, and Vince sent him on his way over to Japan to get a Zen moment to calm down. Joe, you think that's going to work? Carrie Morton has really been paranoid these past few weeks.
Yeah, I mean, Carrie, he is a Morton. He's been in this business for 25 years, even though he's 25 years old. So his habits are hard to break, And when you've been in the business this long, I think paranoia kind of comes with the territory, right? You think everybody's out to get you, everybody wants your spot, especially when you're somebody like Carrie, who, let's face it, has an enemy or two out there. Has some people resenting him for what he's accomplished. And maybe they think it's because he's a double talker. Maybe it's because he uses his last name, whatever it is. I don't know what the future is for Carrie Morton, because if Carrie's wrong, we're watching him spiral in real time. And this may wind up being, for the next season of Dark Side of the Ring. I don't know.
Right.
But if he's onto something and he uncovers some massive conspiracy that's company-wide, then he may be unsafe for completely different reasons. I don't know if there's a way out of this where Carrie Morton wins.
I mean, Carrie Morton is a little bit squirrely. The guy turned on his own dad. Like, he might not be all there. Like, to turn on your own, parent over wrestling is a little wild of a thing. Chrissy, that's your boy. What do you think?
Listen, I don't know if I'm a bigger conspiracy theorist fan or a Carrie Morton fan, but I am Team Carrie. I believe him. The tinfoil hat is right. He not just seeing stuff, he is seeing the Matt Cross stuff. I believe it all. I believe that there are people out to get him, and I think he's smarter than we believe, honestly, and that he leads on. That some people just look at him and they're like, oh, the looks, the age, whatever, but he's done some impressive stuff in JCW, and I think it's going to continue on, and I think people are really underestimating his brain here. You want to say he's crazy and he might be, not all there, but I'm Team Carrie.
He's going to come back and he's going to have ninja skills like Facade, and he's going to start doing all the ninja stuff. I look forward to that. But Vince Russo said next week he's going to out himself for the secret Carrie Morton says he's going to spill. I'm wondering if we're going to find out a little bit more about what's going on. Is Carrie crazy like a fox? We'll find out next week.
We'll definitely find out more. But if I'm Carrie, I may have to recruit my own Warren Commission to investigate this, because whatever Vince Russo says, I don't know if it's going to be to Carrie's liking or not, but I know it's going to cause controversy.
Mm-hmm. There's one thing I know about Vince. He will hit you with the truth bomb. He's going to let you have it. And sometimes you're going to think he's going to say, oh, yeah, something really vicious. And then he'll swerve you on it because he's famous for that. The other day he said Jim Cornette was a nice man and I almost fell out of my chair. But honestly, he feels that way. He does it. This is how he feels. He's not going to sugarcoat it. He's just going to tell you how he feels. So next week, we're going to see how Vince feels. Whether Carrie accepts it or not, that's a whole other story. Now, this hurts my soul because, again, you know what we're going to talk about.
Mm-hmm.
Mickey Knuckles.
I mean, the tension's rising between the two. So
I think those black eyes came from Mickey Knuckles, to be honest with you, that Vito had, because when oh my God. And then last night on the backstage show, I don't know if you folks caught the new backstage JCW show with me and Mac and Jeff Lane. She gave an exclusive interview to Mac where she had a lovely list of things that she wanted to take on a date with Vito that included anal beads, pegging, and hot sauce. And I'm a little afraid. She did say Vito needed Viagra. We determined on the show a few weeks ago between Jasmine and I that was not true. But maybe with all those extra items, maybe he does. And then she said she was a classy girl, so she's bringing wine. Guys, what are your thoughts on Mickey Knuckles and Vito? Please, you guys got to take the floor on this one. Joe. Go first.
I've most of my JCW tenure, I've been sat next to Zach Amico as my color analyst, and I have watched for many months Zach and Mickey make eyes at each other and flirtatiously bending over and kissy faces and all that stuff. Mickey is quite insatiable, and when she wants something, it's really hard to tell her no because she can beat you up too. So I have a feeling that I don't think the black eyes on Vito are from Mickey, but I do think he's got some bruises in some places that I'd rather not look for after a night with Mickey Knuckles. That's for sure.
Chrissy, help me.
I wish I could. I mean, Joe's right, though. She is very insatiable. I've known Mickey for a very long time. And what Mickey wants, Mickey gets at any means necessary. And she is a force to be reckoned with. We've seen her dominate not just, JCW and all over the independent circuit. She definitely deserves her flowers, but I don't know. Vito's definitely got his hands full. We've been saying this for weeks, and I think it's coming to a peak here. I mean, you're talking about anal beads and wine. So, I mean, is that the catalyst? Is that the top? Or are we going to go up from there? Like,
it's a terrifying thought.
Mm-hmm.
The next match. Sorry, guys. It's hard. This is hard for me. Like, I talked to Jasmine. We went through this whole thing. Chrissy was there. We had Jasmine on the show. She's very angry. She's still very angry. It's very obvious. The monsters keep going after Vito. She's teaming up with Jay. She's very mad that Vito told Mickey Knuckles she looks better than Jasmine. She didn't even care about getting beat up and left laying on the ground. She more cared that Vito said Mickey Knuckles is prettier than her.
Mm-hmm.
And for me, watching this from here on the sidelines, it's rough. But you know what? I think he's going to get what he deserves in the end. Whether that includes anal beads and hot sauce, we've yet to see. The next match was Mecha Wolf, Stephen Flo, and Shane Mercer. And something is not right with Stephen Flo. I don't know what is going on with him. I don't know if he's got his pearls in a jam. I have no idea. But something wasn't right. And he seems like a different kind of guy. What are you guys' thoughts on that? Joe, you want to go?
To me, Stephen Flo seems frustrated, and I understand it. This is somebody who has, sacrificed so much. He's in a business where, let's face it, he's not the biggest, he's not the strongest, he's not the loudest, but he's carved such a great niche for himself, and he's become a cult favorite. But again, being in that position makes you a lot of times a target. And whether it's been the monsters or whether it's been Vito or whoever, if I'm Stephen Flo, I'm probably sore. I probably got some nagging injuries. I probably feel like a punching bag most weeks. And to be out there with Shane Mercer, who might be pound for pound the strongest human being I've ever met in my life, the things he can do with other adult humans and make it look like gravity doesn't exist anymore, it's purely insane. And Mecha Wolf, who I've followed his career, in AAA out in Mexico and everything he's done, he's on another level as a performer and an aggressor. And Stephen Flo's in the deep end. And it's one of those things. I think the further up in the industry you go, the harder it gets, the more work you need. You got the big time. Now the real work starts, and I think we're seeing Stephen Flo respond to that pressure in real time.
Chrissy, what are your thoughts?
Agreed. I wasn't too familiar with Stephen Flo, but from what I've seen, he's definitely an opportunist. And being in that match with, Mecha Wolf and Mercer, like Joe said, like Mercer is just brute strength, So it's really interesting, and I think we're going to see more out of Stephen Flo. Like, I think we shouldn't underestimate it either. Kind of like my Kerry Morton spiel over here, where I'm like, give him a chance. Let's see what else we can get out of him.
Chris loves the underdog. You do. You always love the underdog. I always felt bad for Stephen Flo. When Vito came in, he seemed like he was like a dead on target for him, and now here he is. He's trying to make his way. One of my neighbors here where I live is Haku. It's actually, Haku is one of our neighbors. And he's one of the strongest people in the wrestling business and one of the toughest. And I put Shea Mercer on a level of that. He's that strength. He picks a man up over his head and can toss him like a paper airplane. That's amazing. That's a grown man that he's throwing like that. For Stephen Flo to come back out after that match, after being defeated by Mecha Wolf, come back out and then call him back out again. It seems like he's struggling. It seems like he's frustrated, but it seems like he's not going to quit. And he wants to take on the toughest and the strongest guy in the company to prove he's some kind of contender. Mm-hmm. And his best friend, Cocaine, has that briefcase, and maybe friends won't be friends. He's got to take something a little bit serious. It's not his music career. I guess it's going to be wrestling. So he's going to take it seriously. So maybe there's some tension there as well. We saw a little bit towards the end.
I think you make a great point there when you mention Cocaine's briefcase, because that guarantees Cocaine a future title match. And maybe Stephen Flo is thinking to himself, well, if Cocaine becomes the champion, what happens to me? And maybe he's trying to discover that identity, that place right now while he still can.
Yeah, he's got to find a spot in the world. Cocaine's going for it. He's not stopping. The fans love him. He's got that briefcase. He's got that opportunity. Where's Stephen Flo going to land if he's got the title? When everybody's vying for the same thing in competition, there's no friends. So we'll see what happens there. This is a part of the show that I wanted to talk about, and I was excited because last week we loved the street fight last week with the girls. Fantastic street fight. I thought they did a great job beating the tar out of each other, kicking each other's butts. This week, J-Rod got me showing a little bit of aggressive side, grabbing the brass knuckles and tearing up Big Al. And last night we had spoke about how J-Rod comes out kind of like a Kurt Angle, the All-Americans going to be on American Gladiators. And you think, boy, that is just your All-American hero. And then picks up a pair of brass knuckles and it's going to knock out, Big Al and gets in the street fight. This is really heating up between these two great women in the ring. What do you think? What do you think about her picking up those brass knuckles and taking it more into the dark side, Joe?
Well, I've followed J-Rod's career for a few years now, and it's so ironic because I was comparing her to an American Gladiator before the revival of the show even came out.
She's perfect.
She's a specimen. She's an athletic marvel. It's, you don't see people like her walking down the street. Yeah. And, she came in with a chip on her shoulder, though. She came in with an issue with Hollywood Haley, and feels that Haley stole her spot down in Al Snow's OVW. And I wasn't there. I can't comment on it, but I can comment enough on Haley to know that when Haley wants something, she's undeniable. She's tenacious about it. And this has been Haley and Big Al's division for the past practically year now. So for anybody to come into the door and immediately say this is my spot now, you got to go through the both of them, and that's no easy feat. And I think we've seen different sides of Big Al in recent weeks that we hadn't seen in the past. But if Big Al wants to survive with J-Rod, she really needs to dip all the way back into that ass kicker mentality that made her what she is in JCW. Because not only is J-Rod, let's face it, on a stat sheet, a physical superior, but we also know that she's more desperate too, and that's what makes her so dangerous.
Christy, we've talked about this being the best division we think that JCW's ever had. What do you think changes with J-Rod being thrown into the mix here and showing that she's willing to get down and dirty with the girls of JCW?
I mean, I love it. I love that it is just like a dog eat dog division with them. I just think that, J-Rod coming in and like Joe said, like she came in and she's just dominating. She knows what she's got to do. She's focused on what she wants, just like all the women, though. I feel like there's no underdog. There's no weaker woman here. I think they're all super strong competitors. I think anything goes. Anybody could be champion. Anybody could rise to the top at any time. So that's why I love this division so much, is that it's just so unpredictable and it could go to anybody one week and somebody to the next week. So like, I don't have like a favorite because they all just dominate and they're all just fantastic. And it'll be interesting to see where it goes from here.
Yeah, I'm excited too. I can't wait to see next week what happens. It kind of has me on the edge of my seat each week to see how far the ladies are willing to go to become champion in that division. All right, guys, I'm going to talk about now the tag team title match where we see the return of Too Tough Tony and Willie Mack. This was, to me, it seemed like a big setup on the behalf of Vito. I feel like he's been in charge last week. Russo is gone. He sets this up. He wants Jay to come back. Oh, Willie Mack and Too Tough Tony come back. Like he's trying to get all his ducks in a row. I'm so intrigued about the information that he has on the Brothers of Construction. And excuse me, pardon me. He wants to out them for something. He's taking their wallets. Now he's trying to take their tag titles. I think at the end of the match, when he came out and he interfered, there's a couple points that I wanted to point out. Number one, Tony would not hit another Juggalo. But the Brothers of Construction didn't care to get one over on another Juggalo. They have a little bit of a Vito tendency there. They didn't care. Vito came out and interfered. Joe, what do you think about that Tony not willing to hit another Juggalo in a match?
I think it speaks to how deep Tony is in all this, how much, blood, sweat, and tears he's given for this. And I think, you look at what the landscape has been like in JCW the past few months. I think there's a number of people from Vito to the Monster Corporation on down that Tony would love to just unload those ham hocks on. I don't think Tony ever envisioned coming back in and being pitted against what he considers to be family. Remember back last summer before the Russo era, so to speak, it was JCW fighting off Game Changer Wrestling, and Tony was leading the charge, and he had Willie, he had the brothers, he had, everybody kind of rallied behind this common goal. And now, present day, it's almost like you don't know which way is up. You don't know who to believe. You don't know, what secrets are being passed around. You don't know who's being blackmailed. You don't know who's being deceived. And in some ways, I think that tag title match was a great demonstration of what made JCW so great and what's helped make it what it is today, because those are 4 pillars. Those are 4 building blocks of JCW that has allowed it to stay alive and thrive for 26, 27 years and counting. But on the other end of the coin, it also speaks to just that unpredictable nature of family fighting family, friends fighting friends. And is it a Big Vito plan to tear them apart? Is it a Vince Russo plan to get ratings? You don't really know what's going on there, but you've got to be on your toes. And I admire the heart of Tony, but I don't think we're in an environment where you can stop and think before hitting somebody, especially in a title fight.
Right. At the end, they handed the belts back to the Brothers of Construction, which was that was a big show of brotherhood there. Chrissy, what do you think? We've been in wrestling a long time. Have you ever handed a belt back to anybody?
I don't think I've handed a belt willingly back to anybody. No. But I mean,
I think you gave me a belt to the head once, or I gave you one to the head once or something, but I don't think we've ever given each other a belt in the match.
bygones be bygones, right?
Yeah, under the bridge, we're under the bridge.
I mean, yes, Joe put it so well together, but if we know one thing about juggalos is like how loyal they are, right? They're very big on loyalty. They're very big on their word and things like that. So he's right. I mean, is that going to cost him in the end? Is that going to screw him over trying to be, the right man here, trying to do the right thing, trying to be loyal, I don't know. And it's very interesting to see that. And I wonder where it's going to go from here, honestly.
It's a very competitive JCW that we're looking at right now, with a lot of new people and different faces coming in. Mr. Kennedy is the champion. You have PCO coming in as a new person, and a lot of new faces coming in. Everybody is not exactly going to be a juggalo like Tony, like Willie, like the Brothers of Construction. You want to keep that brotherhood strong, but at the same time, you're going to have faces that are coming in that are not going to care the same about the brotherhood. People like Vito, who doesn't care about the juggalos or the jugalos or whatever he calls them. Those type of people are going to take advantage of that. And that might make Tony slip and Willie slip if they can't hit a brother, or they'll take advantage of that, the people coming in from the outside. The last part that I want to look at here before we do a wrap up is the main event. PCO was a beast in this main event. He truly came out of that looking like the monster he is. What do you think, Joe? That was a quick match. The PCO tore up backstage at the arena and then tore up the monsters. What do you think about that match?
Quick and destructive. I followed PCO's career a long time. I do not know how he's standing. I don't know how he's walking. I don't know how he's doing moonsaults. At this stage of the game, this is somebody who was, in a prior life, he was main eventing Madison Square Garden over 30 years ago, and he's doing this now. He's a freak of nature. He's an anomaly, and it feels like JCW is the perfect place for him to be. But you've got, Congo Kong's the longest reigning champion we've ever had. And he couldn't get out of the blocks hardly against somebody like PCO. So forced to be reckoned with, to be sure. I was in Ring of Honor when PCO won the world title then. And I'm in JCW now to see almost another resurgence from this guy. He doesn't age. He doesn't die. He doesn't get hurt. Like, none of this affects him.
He's not human.
He's not human. He's the furthest thing from it. And that mask gives him even more powers to channel somehow. But yeah, to slay a dragon is almost mythical in nature, but to slay 3 dragons in one night, it's unfathomable, and I don't know who or what can stop him.
Chris, what do you think?
I mean, I think one of the best decisions that Jasmine made was aligning with PCO, because like Joe said, like, he is just so dominant. Like, there's no stopping him. And I don't know how he's going to be stopped at this point. Like, every week we just see more and more. And it's like, I'm super impressed. Every week when I see him, like you said, he's been around forever. And it's like, is there nothing that he can't do? So what's next for him? I don't know.
Him teaming with Vito and the Luciano family circle, and Vito saying there's more to come. Vito and PCO go all the way back to WCW.
Mm-hmm.
And they've known each other a long time. They both look like they drank out of the fountain of youth. So I don't know how, with that much wrestling experience between the two of them, the strength, the power, and the experience. How is that defeatable? How can you defeat that? And then at the end of the match, we had Jay come out with Vito with his open arms. So Violent J is back. Is that possibly the wrench in the works for the Luciano family? We've yet to see that. We're waiting for that match. Joe, what's your thought?
Anytime Jay's around, it's going to be a wrench for somebody that thinks they can run court in JCW or they can call the shots in JCW. Again, I go back to the fact that Violent J probably would have never had to leave if it wasn't for Big Vito needlessly escalating every single bad situation that happened in the company since he got here. And he is absolutely to blame. His fingerprints are all over it. And, you know, it's for Violent J to lose JCW, it's almost akin to ripping a child out of a mother's hands. I mean, this is something that he has, you know, with the exception of his family and his music, he's put more time into JCW than anything else in his life. And there's absolutely no way he can peacefully let it go. So I'm not saying it's wise to cross Big Vito. I'm not saying it's wise to fight Big Vito. I'm not saying it's wise to try to out-veto Big Vito. But I know Violent J isn't thinking about the consequences. He's just thinking with his heart.
Chrissy, what do you think? You know Vito's ego. He couldn't even share your wedding with Mickey Mouse. How are him and Violent J going to survive in the same environment?
I don't think I think it's going to be one man left at the end, honestly. And if you want my honest opinion, I'm going to say I'm hoping for Violent J to be holding that flag up, because I think everybody, including everybody here and everybody that's been on the show, is just tired of Big Vito's antics. I've said it before. I felt like we were watching The Ring, where it was 7 days and Vito was like going crazy. It was like waiting for somebody to show up. And finally, Violent J is here. So is this the end of Big Vito's shenanigans and being a menace? I hope so, for all of our sake, because I don't want to have to take any more high blood pressure medicine.
Vito shenaned, and he's going to shenan again. Well, let's hope that Jay shuts him down. And guys, you can watch every week on Psychotic Records YouTube channel every Thursday at 7 p.m. Eastern. You can catch all of the action for Juggalo Championship Wrestling, and Joe will be there. He'll be calling all the action. Joe, thank you for joining us on the show. Is there anywhere people can find you on the internet? I know you have like the video on demand, and you're like a hell of a historian for wrestling. Is there any way they can find you on the internet and hook you up?
I am all over the internet. You can log on to ProWrestlingLibrary.com. I have over 600 hours of content for sale on DVD and VOD that literally spans from the 1950s through 2025. So whatever kind of fan you are, we got something on there that's going to whet your appetite. And all of my socials are on there as well. You can find me on Facebook, on X, on Blue Sky, on Instagram, on TikTok. And my personal website is joe-dombrowski.com if you want to read up on some of my past results. And my DVDs are on there as well. And I don't update it as much as I should, but you might find some fun stuff on there. But yeah, feel free to check me out. And if you like anything you see, feel free to let me know. And vote with your eyeballs, vote with your dollar, and show the love to the pro wrestling that you love most, because that's how we can make this thing better.
Joe, you and I will have to have a combo about what you have of Gorgeous George, the original, because that is my favorite next to Randy Savage. So I collect all kinds of Gorgeous George stuff. So we'll have to have an off-air talk sometime about
Very
Gorgeous
good, very
George.
good.
Chrissy, give everybody where they can find you.
Yes, Instagram, hello_Chrissy_, and I do not call it X. I'm sorry, Joe. I call it Twitter, and you can follow me on Twitter at Hello Chrissy.
And guys, you can find me at Mrs. Harlow Bunny on Twitter, Instagram, and yes, I do have some things available at thebigvitobrand.com, and you can see other videos and extras at the Big Vito TikTok at the Big Vito Brand. And for Chrissy and Joe, Vince Russo, since we're on his brand, thank you again for joining us on Hatchets, Heels, and Honeys. We will see you back here next week. Bye-bye.